welcome back everybody. This is part 2. If you missed part 1, check out the link on the screen. You'll see we're starting out with an $800 value. That's because that's what we were up to in the previous video. So again, if you're not caught up, go ahead and go back and look at that again. Thank you to everyone who did watch the first video. It really surprised us how popular it was. So thank you for the views and the new subscribers. We're still new to this, but we're having a lot of fun. So thanks for your support. If you have feedback on how we can improve the videos, please leave a comment. Someone left us a comment about better places to find some more interesting music, and we listened. So we're definitely open to some feedback. Thank you for being here. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Starting off, we have lots of boxes of unorganized tools. Looks like a bunch of junk. A lot of it has just been garbage, but occasionally we found a few gems. If you want to see how we opened this safe, check out our YouTube short. We always like to save any extra keys that we have because you never know what they could be good for. In another unit that we got, there was a kids riding ATV, and it didn't work at first because we didn't have a key. We must have gone through 60 or 70 keys before we found the one that worked. There were a lot of national flags, some of them in pretty good condition, but of course some with holes in them. There was this old Ford Thunderbird computer part that was a couple $100, but we didn't get a video of it because when we saw it, we didn't think it looked that valuable at first glance. That's why you always have to do your research on stuff. You just never know. So nothing goes into the garbage pile until we have thoroughly looked through it. There was also a lot of World War II and Olympics memorabilia in this box. Some cool vintage stuff. Of course, when we opened the Bank of America money bag, it was empty. You never find money where you think you're going to find it. This box was full of silver-plated items. It's hard to tell how much it's actually worth, but probably at least 20 bucks. This is why storage units are so fun. It's a unit full of guys' stuff and tools, and then you find a $30 American Girl book. It's always so random. You never know what you're going to find. I really wish we had found these gloves a little bit earlier. The unit was really greasy. Those definitely could have come in handy. There we found one silver quarter, the only one in the unit, but you have to check them all because you never know if a quarter is going to be silver or not. I hate finding sports cards. It's way too hard to determine the value. We always bulk sell them. It would just take forever to go through all of them and figure out which ones actually have some value. The cards we do actually look into are Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, or any card that's been graded. Magic the Gathering, people go crazy for those things. We sold a whole huge big lot of them on eBay one time for so much money. It was crazy. As we dig through these boxes, it's just a lot more random garbage and garage junk, cheap tools, miscellaneous. We could use that padlock we just found, though. We did just have to bolt cut one off of our boat trailer. This is a really nice vintage heavy duty spade handle drill. These are good for mixing paint and drywall compound and thin set. That'll be worth some money. Lots of random paperwork. At least we haven't had too much paperwork in this unit. Sometimes you just get tons of personal journals. A lot of times people are in AA or NA and they have their journals in there, or you find their court documents. If we have personal effects, we return them to the storage unit place and they get them back to the owner. But at least this one didn't have a bunch of personal stuff in it. Anybody want some gross old cigarettes and cigars? That's just nasty. And empty canisters. Why do people keep empty containers? I just don't get it. I don't really understand this person's organization system. They just have a bunch of random stuff all in a box together. There doesn't seem to be any kind of rhyme or reason. It looks like they just threw everything in a box and threw it in a storage unit. I mean, there's an old phone from the 80s in there. There were a bunch more framing nails. Not sure if we're going to sell those yet or if we're going to keep them. We will be building a house here in the next few years, so we could probably use them, but not sure if we want to hang on to them for too long. We do like to keep the inventory going in and out and not hold on to too much. Did find a PlayStation game. You never know if those are going to be valuable or not. This one, unfortunately, is just a super random baseball game for the PS2. Not much value, only $5 or $10. This Mac Mentor scanner was taken apart and in poor shape, but even for parts, it's still worth a ton on eBay. If only we could have gotten it put together. If we had the time to sort out and organize all the bits and bolts into large groups like this, there'd be a lot more money in this unit. We just don't have the time to sort everything out like that. Sometimes you have to prioritize whether you want to take the time to go through everything and shine it up and sell it, or if you just call it good and sell everything in a bulk lot. You got to decide whether your time is worth more or not. There were 2 of these Cromwell socket sets. This one was near complete and worth a lot. That's another reason why if you took your time and set aside all of the little bolts and bits, sometimes you can find the one missing piece and you can put it inside and then have a full set. So it can be worth your time, but in a unit like this where everything was just thrown hodgepodge into a box, it could take forever to sort out all the little tiny pieces. We wish these were exterior screws since they have a lot more uses, but you really can't complain about 25 pounds of screws in any format. I mean, that's just a great deal. If you're going to be building stuff and you were going to pay $50 a box for those, to have them just show up in a storage unit for free is fantastic. Every time we go to the store, we've kind of been ruined by storage units because now it's so hard to buy anything retail because we say, well, we'll find that in a storage unit. We'll get that in a storage unit. And you never know what you're going to get because we wanted to buy a pool for our backyard, just one of those little Costco ones, a little 2-person hot tub. And then guess what? In a storage unit, we got a giant pool that's probably for 10 people. So it's always hard when you buy something retail and then you look and then 2 months later you get it in a storage unit, but that's part of the fun. These valves look to be worthless also, but once you scanned the barcode, they had a lot of value. It's been super helpful since we've learned to scan barcodes and since we've started doing Google image searches, because then you can find the exact value of something. All of these 5-gallon buckets must have been stored outside because everything in them was rusty at the bottom, so much so that a lot of the stuff was actually ruined. Every unit has a random kitchen box, and unfortunately, random kitchen stuff does not sell well. Sometimes we keep the stuff to use in our own house. Sometimes it goes to Goodwill. If you can find new kitchen stuff, it will sell, but for some reason, we never have any luck selling the little odds and ends from the kitchen. These were all actually Tupperware brand, which is nice because they sell for a decent amount at the yard sales. We've tried to sell Tupperware on eBay too, and unless you have a really specific vintage something, it's not very easy to sell on eBay, but people love them at yard sales. This was actually a pretty nice dolly. I actually am missing my dolly. We're not really sure what happened to it, so it worked out perfect. The Winchester gun case, unfortunately, was empty, of course. I can't tell you how many units we've bought because we saw a gun case, and they're almost always empty. There was a gun in the unit, but it turned out to be a cheap cap gun. It definitely looked real when we were digging in the box, but unfortunately, just for show. This clock was really nice, but unfortunately does not work. The mechanism would spin in the back, but the hands wouldn't move, or it would be worth a lot more. We could see if we could get it repaired, but again, not sure if that's worth the time and the money. This sign was the first thing we sold from the unit. It sold like hotcakes. It was out to go for the garage sale, and someone came by before the garage sale even started and bought it. Oh, a bag of sewing stuff. Every unit seems to have a random bag of sewing stuff, random thread and needles and buttons. We usually just hang on to that stuff and wait until we have a big amount of it, and then we sell it all as a big lot. And normally, some crafty grandma will be interested in it and will come buy all our junk from us. There were 2 large industrial fans. They look a little rough, but they will be great for keeping the garage cool in the summer. We couldn't get the still leaf blower to work, even with new gas. It was also missing the backpack strap, which was pretty disappointing. It'll still be worth a good chunk of change in this condition, so not the end of the world, but it would have been nice if it ran well and was easy to start. I was shocked by how much this fish was worth. It did, however, slowly deflate, so that sucked. But, I mean, maybe we could patch it. And last but not least, the Tonka trucks. They were brand new, still in the box. The boxes were pretty beat up, but vintage, brand new Tonka trucks never been played with. There is a part 3 coming soon that will show you the rest. This unit just had so much stuff we could not get it all into one video. We thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and come back next week for the final treasures from this unit. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for being with us, and we can't wait to show you the rest of our treasures.